was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout, a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest chapter and everything Kagurabachi. I'm here with Dice.
What's up, everyone?
And today we're getting to chapter 104. It's so hard to say goodbye. Now,
Oh man.
Our GOAT, depending on how you may look at it, we'll talk about it later if he's actually gone or not. I think me and you both kind of line the same way. But let's start with the beginning of the chapter as we see our GOAT, Yura, just a month after approaching a month after the war ended, cooking his ladies some food. And I actually brought this up that what if, was it 2 chapters ago or 3 chapters ago, we saw that flashback panel of Yura looking at like destruction. So that's kind of like a callback to almost looking back at, he's making some food for his girl. They're about to sit down and eat, and then it cuts to black, right? And that's when he loses her. Just kind of paralleling the Chihiro sitting at, the table to eat with his dad, and cut to black, and he lost his dad.
Facts. No, you're cooking with that one, dude. That was a good catch. And yeah, dude, Yura was just an average dude, man. We had discussions about whether he was like, was he a soldier during the war? Was he from Shikoku? Whatever. It's like, no, he was just an average Japanese civilian by the looks of it. And, you mentioned that panel from 2 chapters ago, I think. And it seemed like, you brought this up in our conversation before recording, is like, we were all focused on like, whatever triggered Yura's motivation happened during the war. And it turns out that like, like you brought up, it's what happened after. It's the fact that Yura seemed to expect these heroes, quote unquote, to defend them, these average people, civilians. In a way, he looked up to these heroes, right? He even says it, all thanks to the war heroes. And so I guess if we're putting the, kind of Yura's flashback in a timeline, it does seem that that panel that we saw from a couple of chapters ago is after this, right? And who the perpetrators were doesn't seem to be as important. Seems to, like us, you and me, kind of came up to the conclusion that like sorcery, was new to the world and criminals were kind of going crazy. We see that early in Kagurabachi, so it makes sense that that's what happened there, right? And his dialogue only adds to that.
Facts. That day I saw the right answer. I approve of the malediction. This conviction and resolve that he's been like, marching forward throughout this story with, has been absolute. And he's, going through this like scheme, like, we talked a bit again. We actually had a bit of conversation before recording this time because it's a heavy chapter.
Yeah.
And like the Rakuzaichi, how evil like that was. It's almost as if he planned to like also get rid of that. Like that was par for the course. If he can get rid of the Rakuzaichi, is within reason or is within his objective.
Oh yeah.
And he's willing to believe, and as we see like his like flashback and his thoughts at the end of the chapter, he's looking for this like absolute justice now, and no matter how toxic it comes. And that's why like he, it makes sense why he wanted to team up with Soga, because he wanted that someone with a firm grasp of undeniable justice, like no matter how toxic. That's why he changed the tune of his like mission when he noticed that the Sword Saint wasn't like in charge of his own faculties when he made the decision to like do the malediction. He saw a reason to protect the citizens, and I mean, we know what he did, but
yeah, but I guess this chapter does recontextualize what you're bringing up, right? Like, I remember thinking when Yura makes his pitch to Soga, I remember thinking, hey, this is kind of reminiscent of what he did with Samura, right? Like, obviously it wasn't 1-to-1, but I said, like, this is a master manipulator at work. We've seen this before. But no, he literally, like, when he said that he would prove to Soga his intentions with the Magatsumi, it doesn't get any more like this is it, right? It doesn't get any bigger than this. And so it's exactly what he does this chapter, dude.
Yeah, man, I just gotta say, Hokuzono, look, Chihiro has always been my guy. Number one favorite for me from Jump. Yura is now my number one favorite. Like Yura just, because it's, you know, some people may say like, oh, he lost his wife. That's a very cliche motivation. But it's more than just that. Sometimes about the execution of, you know, just formulaic things. And the execution here is phenomenal because not only did he give us the twist of like, it has nothing to do with the war. We put so much emphasis on the war that it was just after the war. They were just regular people who like looked up to the heroes and there were no heroes around. So they turned into the villains, you know, and
yeah.
Trying to create a world that will say, you know, making these like the ends justify the means in the most extreme way here. But, you know, he's saying like, I did get rid of the Rakuzaichi. Like, and we see Mr. Inazuma from this chapter before Char is crazy, by the way. Like Char's just sitting there like getting forgotten about her and Hanao. But Mr. Inazuma comes back like a little goat. And it's in a cameo anyway, but you know, his sister was taken by the Rakuzaichi. So like no kid's gonna have to feel what Mr. Inazuma felt because of Yura's plans. Don't get me wrong. People died. You know, like they've killed people. I mean, look at the Kamunabi HQ, for example, like how they've been going about that. You know, they're not good guys.
Yeah, but it's like what Yura said last chapter. He sees them as like necessary sacrifices, right? For in his eyes. And like, dude, I'm with you. Like, you know, my favorite character of Kagurabachi was, you know, a toss-up often between Hirohiko, Azami, Sojo. Chill. But dude, like
a bum, a chicken nugget, and a fraud.
Stop it. Well, it's Yura now, dude, because there's a lot of it's a lot what this chapter does for his character, and like this might be a little bit of like revisionist history, but yeah, the like putting into perspective that he intentionally brought down the Rakuzaichi and kind of used Chihiro in that process. Like he knew what Chihiro stands for, and so Yura is just like that necessary evil, right? And I do like how like seeing Mr. Inazuma this time around is in a bit of a different light, because it's almost like saying like, yeah, that was in part thanks to Yura, you know? And I love that, dude. And you know, we find out also that like Suzaku, it turns out that it's also healing Yura because of the nature. You know, we ended the previous chapter under the impression that Suzaku was attacking the same thing that was feeding Yura his spirit energy. And then this chapter, we find out that that's not exactly the case, because the nature of the Magatsumi itself is that it also consumes the wielder. I'm not exactly sure if it's just because Yura is wielding it by proxy. That might be the case, right? I do know it's like there's a distinction made, but either way, we're, you know, just to kind of move us along in the chapter, we find ourselves in this tug of war between like the Magatsumi's consumption of Yura's body, which is, you know, it's gonna feed the Swordmaster essentially, or kind of Suzaku restoring Yura's body. I know I just yapped for a good minute there. My fault.
Oh no, you're good, bro. You're not yapping. I was like, you was, you know, doing your thing. Like, you know, as you brought up this tug of war between the two, and not even that, it's the fact of like the tug of war is like intensified later on because Yura's hit with a double Suzaku. Yeah. So we do see like the Suzaku that Samura hit him with. Then we see the Aku Suzaku. You know, we did bring up, when is Aku Suzaku going to pop up? And I love the way it wasn't used to heal or anything like that. It was used as a double, like to stack on Yura instead of like heal Chihiro. I like that. You know, I never really thought about double stacking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he hit him with a multiplier.
But then we see like, you know, the Magatsumi won out, or you know, the Magatsumi is not to be played with.
Yeah.
Like, the fight's not over, you know what I mean? Like, the Magatsumi is crazy.
Dude, yeah, and before we get into that, like before we see that, I do want to bring up something that you pointed out again in our conversation before the recording. There is like a nice parallel. Again, there's a subtle similarity between the panel that we saw when Yura he's being consumed by the centipede coming from out his mouth, and we see that he says that he will bring order to this nation. And you brought up to me how like this time around we see him like completely losing it, right? And he's casting out blame to Kunishige in this chapter, right? Like, and we see the reaction on Chihiro's face. And let me just say, dude, I love that, right? Because people that I've been sticking around listening to the podcast know that I've been wanting to see Chihiro shook, right? It's a lot that we see him like aura farming and like getting ready for business, but this is what I like to see, right? And Yura was able to drive that out of him with, again, something new, right? Like it wasn't what he did before the war or during the war. It's the fact that now Chihiro feels that people like looked up to Kunishige and that Kunishige failed them because he was no longer there, right? It wasn't these like weapons of destruction. It's like the whole thing, I just enjoy how it's flipped on its head from the perspective of Yura, and it really makes sense. And like his desperation, like just everything works, man.
Bro, yeah, like your father made the world like it, like, or as like from chapter 97 you're talking about, he says, I will bring order to this nation. In 97 now turned into your father made the world like this.
Yeah.
Ooh, like Yura's characterization has just been so great for me. Like even the more cliche motivations, you want to call it that, but it's the execution of it that's so beautiful. It made us like change our perspective on so many things in this one chapter about not just this fight, not just these characters, but just the situation like in the world. Like sorcery is new. We saw like out in the boonies that when Hishaku pops up or whatever, he's like, oh, you never seen sorcery before, because he was a kid from the sticks, as a kid out in the country. So he's still new to sorcery, or in 18 years, that's not a long time for a concept to be introduced to like the everyday life. So it's normal for it to start in big cities, then it will like, trickle out to the countries. So, it's been right there just how like new sorcery is in the world. And, I think we just all kind of accepted that like, blankly. And now it's playing a part 103 chapters later of just like that playing into the motivation of Yura. That sorcery just being more rampant in the world. And, when Yura's like burning and we see Samura's face, it's just that half shot of his head. His eyes just, man, I don't know. Like, I cannot wait. Because, you see his eyes in the very last spread and his eyes wide and he thinks it's over here. He's looking at like, I completed it. That's how I took. It's like him watching like, his revenge, it all being paid off.
You mean by the end?
Yeah, and then right before like fucking the Exorcist enters chat, and then you see his eyes like widen, and he's like, "Oh shit, fuck no, baby."
Yeah, dude. Well, like that development is so crazy because it comes off the back of like we getting like all this new information in regards to like the Suzaku, the Magatsumi's nature, the tug of war. Like just I have to mention the insane art from Hokuzono when Chihiro is just coming down on Yura with this like Aka Suzaku. Like, bro, what the hell got into him? I mean, the whole chapter is just
the inking
gas, but yeah, dude,
it's so raw,
dude. Yeah,
bro, his hands are so fire looking, and just that is
yeah, like
so
the thick border, like, oh, dude, it's so good. It looks so raw yet clean at the same time, bro.
It looks like movie promotional material. Like if it like when JJK dropped JJK 0, there was some art of like similar like heavy lines, heavy inking of like Geto, Gojo, Rika, and Yuta. It reminded me of that a tad.
It's so good, bro. Like the art is so good. I just, it feels like it's been a minute since we kind of gave Hokuzono's his flowers in the art department. So just in case we hadn't done that enough already, like, let's just bring it up again.
Kiora got a couple panels in this chapter too. Mr. Nazuma. It was a family affair.
Yeah. Seems like
it was like all the
wanted to remind us.
Yeah, it's like that Rakuzaichi like seems like the arc that, you know, just kind of introduces, like, brings in the deuteragonist of the story, you know, Chihiro's right hand man, as well as introduced Magatsumi, which is like weight enough in the you know, narrative weight in the story. But like, we see Kiora get called back to so many times this arc. It's crazy. Reminds you just how important like that moment was in the story.
Yeah, well, I mean, this chapter again, adds to that, right?
Kiora was the real villain of Kagurabachi all along.
Well, it is interesting because, you know, going back to Chihiro, you know, real quick, like, it's funny because, like, this is all because Chihiro's like blaming the Hishaku, and Yura goes like, the Hishaku, this
I'm blaming your dad,
happening.
bitch.
Yeah, like, and like this been happening. Like, you know those guys you just took down, they've been doing this like way before we even came into play. So like, yeah, you're welcome, by the way. You know, and
yeah,
like,
he has been hiring $50 and a lighter. The Hishaku are broke. Let me tell you something. They're broke, so that way they could get rid of all the bums on the street. Y'all are welcome.
Yeah, it's a good cause. But now moving to like
it's charity, street cleaning, the charity.
For real. But
crazy.
Just to talk about Chihiro real quick, because I did kind of just gloss over like me wanting to see him be like constantly challenged. And I do like, because we cut back to like his eyes, and I love how much heavy lifting, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like Chihiro's eyes do in terms of like his character writing and the way like Hokuzono tells his story and like his realizations and him coming to terms with certain things. And like him just realizing once Yura is burning, like after not that first panel that we see, but that second panel towards the end, like I just really like, because again, it just hammers home this idea that like people looked up to Kunishiges and these heroes for different things in different ways for different reasons. And I feel like this is the first time that Chihiro sees that. And like, of course, he doesn't agree with Yura's perspective, but I would imagine that he can't help but see where Yura's coming from. It's always been like the enchanted blades are the issues, they're the issue, they cause death or whatever. But like, it's the first time we see him having to stand on the other side of somebody arguing like, hey man, this is what's supposed to keep us safe. You know, like, what's Chihiro's argument to that? You know, that's a whole nother conversation that goes like way beyond, you know, he didn't forge the blades, right? So like that goes back to him having to make up for Kunishige's actions and like that whole thing. And again, I just love like how much, like one panel of Chihiro's eyes, like this is, you know, how much conversation it leads to. I really enjoy this main character, man. Little by little, he starts kind of climbing up that ladder in terms of my favorite characters, because I always give him his flowers, but he's never been anything too special, too stand out. Great MC, but I've been yearning for more of this kind of stuff.
You know, you mentioned something about like Chihiro's eyes and, you know, the paneling and just how like you know, the story is conveyed through his eyes a lot of times. Or the weight of the moment. A GOAT YouTuber just happened to put out a video about like the cinematic masterclass of Kagurabachi. You know, wink wink. So I talk a lot about that as well, so it's funny you bring that up now, because it's true. It's, you know, we get so much of what's going on through like these quick shots or like overlapping panels, or just like unfinished panels, but like scratchy, erratic art. And it's always like close up of eyes or the sword, even hands. It tells us so much, you know, just by the way Chihiro's gripping his sword, we can tell how angry he is. Yeah. And then his eyes are like the emotional window. So Hokuzono does a great job of like nailing that emotion like that. I do agree. That's a good call out on your part.
And emotional window is like such a good way to put it, bro. It's like perfectly said.
Yeah, bro, I know poetry sometimes.
Sometimes.
And you know what the best part about this chapter though? Every
Go ahead.
Soga feat that happens after this is now a Yura upscale.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Woo!
sir.
It's like this is and speaking of Yura, by the way, I mean this is just like what I take from it. Yura doesn't have an innate sorcery. So I'm thinking like this man has just honed spirit energy and trained enough to like just up his physicals and just train himself for like the journey that he was gonna have to endure. I don't think we're gonna get to see much on that. But and I mean I guess just to bring it up to you, and I'll let you more talk about how you feel about it first, but I personally feel like Yura is gone. I think he's like RIP'd, but he exited out in the best way. But I'll let you talk more on it, how you feel.
Yeah, so we went through everything pretty much in the chat. Obviously not everything, right? But like I feel like this is the only thing we have yet really to get into. And so it took me a minute, man. You know this. It took me a minute. I was on some heavy copium. Obviously, it's like it's not over until the fat lady sings, right? Like until we see Hokuzono pretty much put that nail in the coffin.
Hey, somebody get Shiba out here.
Stop it. But yeah, like it took me a minute to kind of come to terms with what was going on. Like at first I thought Yura was rejecting the Sword Saint or Soga's offer, because again, like it's Yura the one that's used to manipulating. But I was just coping, I feel like, because this chapter, the ending, it pretty much tells us everything that we need to know. I do agree with you. Again, Yura was just an ordinary guy, likely no innate sorcery. He just had the determination to do what he did. But the fact that he answers the Soga's "Who are you?" with "I was," then corrects himself, "We were nobody," like very intentionally using past tense. Like I agree, this is it. This is Yura literally sacrificing himself for his beliefs. I do have some questions in terms of like Soga, I'll give you your body back, hand it all over to me. It does kind of sound like contradictory considering what we see. So I do have like just holding out a little bit of hope that Yura's not done here. But I do agree, man. Like if he is, like this is like a very, I think we both agree, right, that this is a very, very tough way to go out. Like this is cold, and it's not that he's going out by like how do I say this, like the way he wants to, right? Like this isn't clearly like the way he would want to go out, but if he has the chance to make a call here and he's choosing to pass the baton to Soga, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, he's one of my favorite Shonen Jump villains. As long as I think this conclusion is exceptional. I think this conclusion is something like, as you said, wasn't like his expected point, or like even a foreseeable way to die. Like if he just died normally by Chihiro killing him, that's like just a straightforward like whatever. But this is him like choosing a vision or a possibility that wasn't even like on his mind up until just recently when he talked to Soga. So to introduce that kind of like spin on the series, that kind of twist so recently, and also make it feel rewarding and paid off, it's very interesting. And I mean, it's very hype. Like I love it. I was really taken away. Like, I got a wife, and I know like how I would be moving like crazy. I mean, maybe not this crazy. I don't know if I'm built like this. But no, dead ass, like Yura just had this like unwavering conviction to like change the world to like what should have, or like what I guess this absolute justice, as I brought up so many times in this story, or this episode, excuse me. And I don't know, man. I know we like the possibility of like, man, maybe Soga's just a straight shooter and he does plan on giving him his body back. But as we talked about, it feels like too much like circling back to just get, circle back to Soga in a pit when it could just be over. The body that's down in that pit doesn't matter no more. It's just gonna move forward. Now maybe his body, maybe he changes like this, whatever's happening here in the sword unsheathing will like change Yura's image to Soga. Maybe he just is in, body hops to Yura's body. Remember he does have the pain eyes, and that could be the Renegon connection of like Nagato using Yahiko's body. The Tendo pain was like the one that we saw all the time, but then we find out Nagato's the original Renegon user. That could be the Naruto connection. It's just like, kind of that type of parallel. But I'm down for it. I like it. I love his pose, like dead people be like. It's insane when that like you turn that page and then this motherfucker's floating. Like I said, Exorcist entered the chat.
Yeah,
and it's cool. We do see the Magatsumi on fire from Suzaku, like as it like lands on the ground next to him, and it's like
repels that.
Nah, shit. Yeah, Magatsumi said, "Nah, fam, flames of mercy, bullshit."
Yeah, dude, and like it looks like
flames of mercy, fuck it, Lamborghini mercy, and it opens up.
Looks like you're finally get to see that thing unsheathed, like you've been.
Ooh, yeah, but Yura ain't the one whipping that monster out though. I want to see Yura whip that thing out, that monster.
Okay, so. But
I'll take it.
Back to the Yura stuff real quick. Let me get on some cope. Let me get on some cope here, because I do like kind of. As I like, as we're kind of recording this episode right now, and I'm looking at the chapter and we're discussing that very thing, and I'm thinking like, man, I'll give you your body back. Like, we know it's not likely, like we know it's not looking good for Yura. This is very much a sacrifice play from his part, but man, I'm thinking like if Soga really is like that in terms of like wanting the best for his people, and we see him like he literally says like, relax, I'll be that hero, but before that he says, I'll give you your body back, hand it all over to me. Like I said, I'm wondering if the Magatsumi's abilities, which have already been stated to be directly like all about, not even directly related, but like the Magatsumi's ability being all about like taking life away and then outputting it, right? I do wonder if like Soga will keep his word by the end of this. Right. Again, I'm on some heavy cope here, but I do wonder if like, yeah, you're gotta die still.
You're still did some fucked up shit.
No, for sure. And I mean, this would be just like keeping him around to like for him to die eventually, right, by like some other means. And I do agree with you in that like there's very few deaths that could top what we're seeing here. And if what we're gonna see eventually, if this isn't it, wouldn't top this, then like, nah, give me this. Like, I agree with that take, right? But man, we're Yura Glazers here, and it's kind of tough. Like, it's a tough pill to swallow that like we're not gonna see more of Yura besides potentially like flashbacks or like memories from the Hishaku, which is like a whole nother can of worms. Like, what's gonna happen to them? But because like Yura is literally, I would assume like Soga now sees that like Yura is his number one rider. Bro, like if you're in Soga's shoes and you have the ability with the Magatsumi to bring him back, why would you not want like your number one fan who's proven to be like a very competent leader, may I add, right? Like I am wondering if he has the means to like bring Yura back, like recreate his body with the Magatsumi, maybe absorb the life of Samura and like fucking,
oh my god, heavy hating. That's some heavy hating. Yeah. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna put Yura in Samura's body now, and Yura, go kill Yuri like that.
Because I told you, I can see like on some, I can see like Soga recreating Yura's body in his likeness. Like we might see we might see Soga in Yura's clothing, and so I'm thinking he finds a way to like literally recreate Yura somehow, or like I don't know, man. The Magatsumi is crazy, and we're about to see that thing unsheathed. So
nah, bro.
Can say, bro.
You gotta let that one get cooked with Yura, bro. You gotta let that one go.
You're lucky I didn't bring up my Yuki Sada theory. Let me.
Oh my god! Don't even. Oh my god!
I'll leave that in the comments. I'll leave that one in the comments.
Yeah, just wait. Y'all peep that out. God, bro. It's funny. The way that we deal with the whole Yura's passing is this: we start death scaling. Samura's not gonna go out like Yura. I bet you his conclusion ain't gonna be this good.
Let me stop, because he about to have a good one. But hey, what about, like, let's talk about just real quick, right? Like, we've talked about potentially Samura and Yura both going out in this fight. Like, that still might be, like, in play, but I don't think
I'm pissed off Samura lived longer. I'm pissed off Samura. Just playing. Samura, like, Samura might be on fire himself. But Samura might have gave, he might be cooking, like, right off the screen on the side street.
I think there's a good chance
Samura died in a dumpster. Samura died in a dumpster, bro. I would be dead if he landed in a dumpster, like half on fire, but not working. Imagine that. That's like the ultimate hating. Oh yeah, he fell down into a dumpster.
No man, Samura's all right. But man,
I like Samura. It's just funny to meme on him and Shiba because they're the most loved.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, man, pretty good chance that they both Yura and Samura go out by the end of this fight, and like we're looking at a whole different kind of what is it, like just scenario, right? Like the whole state of Kagurabachi will be seen, and we've already talked about this, right? Like the before and after the assault on Kamunabi HQ, especially if Yura goes out and like Soga is now like takes over as the main villain, and like the implications of that, like his motivations, his storyline, like I brought up earlier, does he take over the Hishaku? Kagurabachi is very much like, I can imagine it being seen as like pre-Kamunabi HQ, like pre-assault on Kamunabi HQ and post-assault on Kamunabi HQ.
You know who is alive? Yuki Sada.
Oh man,
that's your new goat, bro.
Stop it, bro.
That's Dice's new goat, y'all. Yuki Sada. Yeah, I mean Azami might. I mean, we know that there's sorcery to like heal and put limbs back on, but we don't know like Azami was spared thanks to Shiba, but Azami
he's bleeding out in a dumpster too.
No, don't do that to Azami. Don't do that to Azami.
I like Azami. Yeah, you're right.
I know, but they can't do that to Azami. But no, he might be out of commission now too. They might not be able to put his arms back on because of like he was hit with like the Magatsumi. Maybe it's just beyond repair.
Yeah.
And so we lost him. Oh, I want to bring up Kazan. Now Kazan's whole thing was undeniable, like a source for undeniable justice as well.
Stop it. He's still stuck to the wall. What you talking about, bro?
The fact of like, remember when we first found out that though, that reveal, we're like, okay. We were like not big on it really. Or like we thought it was something, I guess, different. We just accepted it for what it was. But that he kind of felt like the same way, that he needed an answer to like the Rakuzaichi. And we find out here that Yura's like, that was within like his objective to get rid of the Rakuzaichi. Like they wouldn't be able, like that. Like, so Kazan was even like kind of cooking, like, or in terms of like what Yura's final, like, like characterization would be about.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, like, a lot of it has to do with what you brought up. I think at least us, or I'm not sure if like a lot of people agree, or like a lot of people, the same thing happened to them in terms of like us really forgetting or like not really keeping in mind just how important the fact that sorcery is new to this world is to the story. Like the same thing happened when when he was like when Yuki Sada said like, oh, Yura will be king, and then he was like, I will bring order to this nation. A lot of people were like, oh, this isn't really too creative in terms of like what a villain has to offer. But when you keep in mind the whole aspect of what we're talking about, again, like the sorcery and like it being rampant and like criminals going crazy and like Japan not really being able to put a lid on that after the war, it just kind of again recontextualizes why the enchanted blades, some people feel like Kazane, where they shouldn't exist in the world, but then you have people like Yura, even before he was the Yura we know, literally believing that the enchanted blades is what brings order to the world. So I do like that it's becoming less of a good versus evil type of thing, and more of how what is the best way to use, what is the best thing to do with the enchanted blades? Do we destroy them, or is it somebody that has to
government
have,
regulated?
Yeah, and again, this is a lot of big commentary from Hokuzono's part as well, right? Some real life parallels and that whole thing. But it just brings up and triggers some very interesting conversations.
Yeah, no, facts. It really does. Yeah, and I think the whole the thing to really take from all this, or at least I do, is you can't be a hero to everyone.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the big thing with the story, is you just can't, no matter how much some people praise you, there will always be at least one person to condemn you, and it's just a matter of circumstance, and just take life for what it is, that life isn't fair, and some people, face hardships that other people don't even have to worry about, and it's not even within their purview of everyday life. And then just the victim of, Yura was victim of circumstance, I guess. Where he was, where he lived at the time. We'll have to see maybe how that played out, exactly what happened. But we talked about that a little, or our thoughts of what might be earlier in the episode. And I mean, I guess last thing I just want to bring up, besides how crazy it's going to be now that the Magatsumi's unsheathing, Samura's reaction, Hishaku's reaction is the one I'm looking forward to the most, because he's the one that I'm most sus about, to see how, if maybe he knew somehow this was a possibility, and he was waiting for this, the second generation of the Hishaku to take, to kind of move forward in the story. There's a lot of things that I'm just excited to see about Chihiro finding out that's his uncle that's about to pop out.
Ooh, yeah, true.
There's a lot of things I'm just excited to see. I mean, I think I said it every episode, as we all are just excited to see where it goes from here. But Hokuzono's just not. He's building 104 chapters where the foot is not left off. He's not leaving his foot off the gas.
Oh man, agreed. And I have just two last things to say, really.
Real smooth.
I hit the mic on accident. I don't know if that.
I know, we heard. That's why I was so funny. Said, oh, somebody said, dink. Oh, two things. All right, now three things.
Leave that.
Nah, my bad, bro.
No, I'm good. Yeah, dude. In regards to his Hishaku, excuse me. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a flashback to a conversation where because Yura is just so down for the cause, he might have entrusted Hishaku, in the case that Yura made some play like this. Maybe obviously it's tough to see how he could have prepared exactly for this, considering that he didn't know Soga was in his right mind and that whole thing. But I think you and me both agree that we could see a Hishaku potentially pledging allegiance to Soga, excuse me. Yeah. And the other thing would be, going back to the heroes talk, just think about how many times that word has been thrown around already. Kunishige, deflecting being called the hero and calling the enchanted blade bearers the heroes, and the enchanted blade bearers, especially Samura, doing the same. And now again, just the using the word from Yura's perspective in a completely different light, and then seeing that just what exactly was the mistake of the heroes, right? It's like Yura said, that their mistake was thinking that Soga had to be brought down. So this chapter is the more we talk about it, the more I think about it, this chapter is just better and better, man. I told you I was speechless right after I read it.
Yeah, dude, fucking Yura's character almost moved me, man. Legit, because just the fact of what pushed him forward, I said, I'm very empathetic, so the shit with Samura and Yuri's dynamic really hit for me. Just the fact that, cliche as it may be, losing your wife, and that propels you forward. I've constantly brought up how execution's important, and this has just been executed so well. It's rare in Shonen Jump for a character to be done so well from beginning to end. and like the execution also is just phenomenally handled. So Hokuzono, you're 3 for 3 with like villains and their executions. Sojo, Kiora, and Yura. I mean, man, that's like those villains have like come and went, and they're greatly handled all the way through.
Yeah, that's a great point. I completely agree.
But man, I also want to see Samur's reaction. I want to see what them eyes look like now that he can see it again.
Yeah, Samura and Chihiro both will be reckoning with some real tough shit next chapter if Soga is taking over.
You know who wouldn't put up with this shit? Ibiki
Who?
Masaka.
Oh, stop it, bro.
I ain't brought him up. That's my goat.
He's in a coffin
He's top
somewhere.
5 for me, and he's never been seen in real time. But no, I think that'll do it for the chapter, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that was a good talk.
And we do have an episode next week. A chapter next week. So of course we'll have our regularly scheduled episode. Let us know in the comment section what you like the most. If you think Yura, what percentage chance you think Yura has to come back.
Where my copers at?
How many of y'all like Yuki Sada? Let's also ask that.
Oh my
That's Stacy's
God.
new goat.
Stop it, bro.
And is Nagi Yoshino gonna come back in Jujutsu Kaisen?
What are you talking
Like that, just fucking, I'm just.
Most people don't know who she is, bro.
Hey, bro. Then those people just sleep. The fucking fan base don't know how to read anyway.
This is a bocce podcast, bro.
Yeah. All right, y'all. See y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.